Hi, I'm John and welcome back to my Lair of Action Figures, where I'll be talking and reviewing action figures from different manufacturers. Today we're going to be doing another G.I. Joe Classified series figures. This is the last one in the 60th anniversary line. This is the action pilot. Well, technically, he's not really an action pilot, as you can see, because this is a halo jumper, or high altitude, low opening. So, of course, the box is in the standard wave of the ones they've did before for the other 60th anniversary. Again, you have the blister format, who is something pretty good, and you see everything that you get inside. Now, this box is pretty standard. There's some interesting pictures where they took the, I guess that must be the HasLab F14. I haven't built it up. I will be building it up and doing, of course, a review. You have this standard mumbo jumbo behind. You have a QR code who brings you to outdated post, and instead of having something a bit more interesting, they could have done with it. Now, of course, I'm going to be talking about history, what we get in the box, what are my thoughts about this figure, and how good it is, and can it be better. So let's dive into the what we get in the box. Now, of course, I know that you would be more expecting of going into the history, but the history, I'm going to be giving that more towards the end of this video, and this is why I wanted to more dive into what do we get in the box. So, of course, we do get the figure itself. We get 3 different kinds of rifles who were already given before. We have, of course, a pistol. We have a knife. We also have 2 different helmets who are here. We have different goggles who goes with the figure. We have a silencer, we have night vision, we have the oxygen kit, and of course we have the backpack and the parachute. So let's put this over here. So this is everything that you get in this box. As you can see, like all these figures who came out for $34.99 or €42.99. Of course, this is a 2024 figure. You do get a lot of stuff into this figure. Now, of course, we're going to be having a closer look at the details of this figure. As you can see, pretty interesting head sculpt. This time they didn't decide to go with 2 different head sculpts. I think they could have done a generic African American due to the fact that you could interchange the heads, but for my army building, that will be coming at the end of the video when I'll be talking about it. But as you can see, there's a lot of details going on this figure. The paint job is pretty nice. The camo appliance on his face looks pretty nice. Not very convinced about his shoulder logo here. I've preferred to have something else than that. But as you can see, pretty basic figure. Comes with a holster, little place for the silencer, has the knife pouch over here. So, I mean, pretty interesting as a figure. Now, when we're talking about the helmet, so of course we get this helmet who's already been reused. This is the same as the one Rock and Roll gets, who is a pretty basic. Now, the one who's interesting is the Halo one, who's more of the pilot kind of helmet. Does have the little battery pack over here, who's something who is cruelly missing on this one, because if you have nods on this one, you're going to need to power them up, and that's the battery part that you should have. The fact that it moves up and down to give you the gas mask situation over here afterwards, if you want to put it on, so it's pretty easy. You just clips it in, and then clips it in over here, and you can see it fits really neatly and looks pretty good. So the oxygen mask. Now let's have a look at the weapons. So decided to remove the silencer from the rifle. As you can see, these rifles were already given with us with the Stardust set. I can't remember the exact name, but these weapons have been used multiple times. Now I did try to remove the ammo clip, and they're removable, but they're very hard, and they seem to be a bit of a more solid plastic than the other ones, a bit less bendy, so they might have changed. Who could explain why? the ammo clips are a bit harder. So of course we get the nods, who are the same ones that came with our friend, what's his name, Airborne. Of course we have these goggles who are covered, you have the goggles who are uncovered to put on the figure, and you also have the nods with the shiny paint. Now, this is maybe not the best paint application that I would have liked to see with this figure, but let's say we can go with it. And of course the silencer who was on the sniper rifle, which fits in very easily. You should screw it in and you have it over here. Now let's go to the backpack. Now I attach the backpack to the small parachute. So as you can see, you can fit it in. It's pretty easy to open, close. So pretty simple as a mechanism to put all of this in. Now that we got this away, let's go on to my final thoughts, and do I think this is a collectible figure? Now, do I think this figure is a collectible item? Well, my answer would be yes for this figure. I do think that this figure is a pretty interesting one as an army build. I don't remember seeing him going on clearance on different shops in the US due to the fact that it's a regular release, so it pops up in every shop or any shop where you will buy figures. But I guess you could say that this figure is a pretty interesting one, and I think it should hold up the value. Because of my final thoughts, you will understand straight away that this figure is going to be doing pretty well as the action soldier. So I really think this figure is a pretty interesting one and does have a value of collectible. Now, if you want to army build this figure, also it's a possibility to do. So I strongly suggest that you may pick some up, or you can maybe wait that some shops will get them in clearance. That can also be a very interesting part about doing it. So just stay tuned to all the different I'm not going to say partners, but Amazon or all these other shops might have some going up on for clearance. So that's always something that you could always take into consideration if you want to pick it up at that moment. But I will not want to miss out on this figure, and I give it a high collectible value because of the fact that this figure is really interesting as a build and gives many possibilities. So that would be it for my part of the value about it. Let's dive on my final thoughts. Now, personally, I think they did a pretty good job. Now, is this figure perfect? My answer is no. I mean, Hasbro, you cheap bastards, sorry for that. But I mean, you give a silencer, the silencer goes for the weapon, but this silencer who goes in here should be for the pistol. And this silencer does not fit in here, and they didn't give the silencer for the pistol. I mean, what the hell, Hasbro? If you're giving this kind of holster, at least give us the silencer that goes with it. Now, that's a bit nitpicking, I can understand, but if you're putting the accessory to put a silencer, give us the silencer. Now, another thing that is a bit of a shame on the figure, I can understand that you may have some space issues, but I mean, this guy is a friend of Deadpool, or even a bit better equipped than Deadpool, because he has one pouch for an extra magazine, who is not even the ones from his weapon, so I guess he's going to have to choose. But for me, the fact that this figure is great, I'm going to tell you why I like it and why I believe this is a good army builder. So I want to go and pick up some heads from, from the other Joes. And as you can see, they do fit and they look pretty neat in it. And of course, you can put the helmets on. Let's take this one off over here and we can slide it in. As you can see, it fits perfectly. So if you want to say this is dusty under here, it works. If you want to take a tripwire head, it works also. You can see fits in pretty well. So if you want to have him halo jump in, it works also. The head doesn't move that much. Helmet fix on. Of course, I have our good friend Shipwreck. So if you want to transform this into a Navy SEAL guy, you can do it. Of course, I removed his head, his hair, because there's no way that it would fit. But as you can see, you can put this all in over here and give it a bit of a crush over here, and you can see it looks pretty neat over here. You can also add the nods. So I mean, this puts this figure as a very interesting army builder if you want to build him up. So you see, it works with every head right to here. Now, the head that I was the most interested to use would be the one from the new Duke. So of course it does fit. The only thing is, it does feel a bit narrow for this helmet. Works, but if you're taking the Halo one, he's going to be a bit loose in there. So there's a bit of a wobble, but nothing much that you can do. As you can see, it does wobble, but it holds pretty well in place. Now, concerning the other things that I do have a huge problem with is the solidity that they have with the backpack. Now you can see over here, can already see it's already whitening the plastic over here. So I'm not convinced that opening, closing this and putting this crappy parachute in it, I personally don't think they should have given it, because if you watch the Hasbro video, this is not a workable parachute, who I mean is a disgrace for 2024. And this is where we're going to go into the history. I know that this is normally based on the 12-inch figures, but let's go into the history of another brand who was also doing parachutists from the original line of G.I. Joe. Of course, this is Action Force. So of course, this is based on the US parachutists that came out back in the between 1960 and the 1980s. But this is the British version of the figure in a 3¾ inch scale size. Of course, this is the mint in box one from my private collection. As you can see, it does have a parachute, and it's all plastic. This was done in the early 80s, and they managed to make it with a working parachute. It's even written in different languages for the people who don't maybe get it, but they managed to do it. So a figure that came out 40 years ago was able to get a working parachute is something that I cannot understand why Hasbro would not be able to do it with this one. This backpack chute is really pretty ridiculous. And a last part that I would have really liked them to change would be to give us maybe an open pair of hands. So if you can interchange the hands over here and to have it a bit open, because if you want to give him a bit of a pose, trying to maybe skydive, you don't want him to be in a gun position, as you can see. You would like to have maybe the more open hand gesture, who would make it a bit more interesting for him on a skydive mission. So if you see, you can put him like this, but holding him with this kind of configuration would have made more sense to have an open hand like this on both sides. Saying it's a bit of a nitpick, I can understand, but do think that this is a huge shame that you didn't do this little extra effort for this figure. And like I said, calling him a pilot is not something that I really think it's right, due to the fact that this is a Halo jumper and could have been as good as a soldier or any other kind of stuff. So that's going to bring me to my final note about this figure. And I'm going to give this figure a 7 out of 10. I would give him a bit more if there would have been the extra silencer, there would have been some extra stuff with this figure to really make him a 10 out of 10. But due to the fact that there's so many issues with this figure, like I said, for the backpack, the parachute not working, there's a lot of stuff who's put into this box who is a bit useless and really a shame. So that's going to be it for the review of my G.I. Joe Classified Series Halo High Jumper or Action Pilot for the 60th anniversary. If you like this kind of video, please leave a like, share, comment in the section. If you have any suggestions, please let me know also in the comment section. You can go and check out some pictures I have done on my Instagram page or Facebook page. I also have opened an X account where I'm posting certain pictures, so you can go and check that out. All the links are in the description. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!